Once they're on the jig, they're on the jig. We need to crack on with it, otherwise it will sit there for months in the way. Yep. But this one is turning out great because Chris cracked straight on with it. I got straight on and ordered the parts, and there is the new subframe, there's the new engine mount, there's the new aircon pipes. It's all turning up nice and fast, which is allowing us to crack on with this.
It is, yeah.
So it's time to move out the bed.
Yeah, I think we might get away with just moving that forward for a minute. We get that bed on, offer it up and see where we're at, and then we go from there.
Get the bolts in it, and it is in the last video on this. You got plenty of compliments, mate, because you did crack on with that and done it really, really quickly.
Yeah, it's not loads of work, to be honest, Rob.
Well, it's going to turn out a nice car, I think.
I think so.
I just had a bit of a shock. You can notice that Liam did come and cut that windscreen out for us, and he gave us a price on a new one while he was here. Now he looked after us, and it was still £400. So
yeah, it's a lot of money, isn't
it? They're just getting more and more expensive to repair cars, aren't they?
They are.
And the parts.
Yeah, yes.
Right, let's get this bed on there and make sure that we're all square. It's so nice when you can just pick up after the last video and crack straight on with it. I know we do have to stop and have gaps, but with this one, the engine bed, the subframe, whatever you'd like to call it, it come in pretty quick, and we managed to get that straight underneath. Get the bolts in it, get all 4 bolts in it. You know, all of those bolt holes are absolutely bang on, and it's in place. Now, of course, it's time, we've got to take that back out again and then start prepping for the area that's going to be welded up and painted. But before we do that, we do want to fit it up and just make sure that everything is going to line up on the front panel. So with the front panel on, it's just 2 10mm at the bottom. There's 2 little star drives at the top, and then the bonnet, of course, you've got your 4 13s on there to do up, and then 2 front wings. I'm going to do one, Chris is going to do the other, and you can see it just took us a few minutes. We had the bonnet, the wings, and the front panel complete, all on the car. That's better, mate.
Yeah, I'm pleased with that. Yeah, pleased with that, Rob.
It's actually coming out really nice, isn't it? And of course, we've done a lot more even when we did turn the camera off, and it was only because it was getting on a bit, and it was a case of put on the bonnet, put on the wings, tweak the bracket that side that had bent for the actual front wing. So this one, of course, was all quite badly damaged, and even when we just finished it then, the bottom side of it, where it had just pushed it out, it had also rolled it under a little bit. So there was a bit of messing around there to do, but as you can see now, I mean, there's going to be very, very minor adjustments to do on the hinges.
Like and the purpose of panelling it up was really just to prove that the chassis leg's in the right place.
Yeah.
The chassis leg the weight is being supported by that jack. There's a little ratchet strap on there holding it in there, and
the subframe's on.
But there's a couple of pairs of mole grips on there, but they're never going to hold it on their own, so that's why there's a jack and that on there. And like you say, Rob, the subframe's on, so but yeah, the bonnet sits square in the hull. It's dead centre of the front panel, which is like a telltale that you got it bang on.
I'm happy with it, mate. You're happy with it. If you grab that, I can actually pop that now. So we are just using this cable. Again, there's even a little bit of vibration in this because it's not everything holding it.
Yeah, so like I say, it's just supported with that bottle jack, just the weight, because once you put all the front panel on, obviously it wants to push it down.
Yeah.
And the mole grips won't hold it, so...
Certainly getting there with it now, though.
Yeah, so quite pleased with that. Do you want that back?
Yeah, mate? And it's a case of, now that we're happy that is all right, all of this has got to come back apart, and you're going to start the process of welding in that chassis leg.
Yeah, I'll probably get that tacked up with that front panel in, won't I?
Yeah, you've done it, you've seen me do it before.
Yeah, so I'll probably get that all tacked up, and then we'll have a double check. We'll take the jack out, we'll take the ratchet strap off, we'll double check it's all right, and if it is, then we'll strip it and fully weld it.
Get it welded up and make it look like nothing ever happened. Let's continue on. So that is it, a couple of tack welds on there to hold it exactly where it needs to be, and then we can start stripping it back down. But Chris did say I could quite easily do loads of the welding while that front panel's on there. It's not going to affect it. I believe there was a little bit of a pause there where we just popped outside because I needed to show him something. and that is it now. On with the welding. But before we do that, we are going to remove some of the parts. So front panel out the way, and now he can get right in there and actually get cracking with the welding. So you've got a huge seam weld right along the top, down the side, underneath, and then back up again on the inside. And then you've got loads of well, not loads, but a few spot welds holding that inner flitch into that chassis leg that's been put in there. What chassis damage?
Yep. Looks all right, Rob, doesn't it?
No, it don't look all right. It looks perfect.
Yep.
Once it's painted, you're never going to tell that you've put that in there.
No, that's right.
So we did spare you all the filler work, and I know someone's going to say I would have liked to have seen it. But we have the camera set up here. You've got nowhere else to put it. Chris is in here. That's so right. All you're going to see, stand in there, I'll do a demo. All you're going to see...
It's only a tiny little bit,
is his back, anyway. Yeah. You've got just put a tiny little strip through there of filler over it.
Over the grinding marks, really. That's all you're doing.
And then, of course, all under there is completely done as well. You can't tell where that has been done. All of this is pretty much ready to go. Chris is just thinnering it off and getting ready to put some paint. You can see there's already
got a bit of masking to do in a minute, Rob, and that's it.
Nice bit of dark primer on there already. And you're going to paint that cap on.
Yeah, I'll quickly take that one off, save masking all that off, put it on a stand and paint that one. And then the rest of it will get painted at a later date. But that'll enable us to get the bonnet, get the engine and gearbox suspension all fitted, get it off the jig, and get the next one on.
I know this is a lot of work, and this was quite hard here. But do you know what? How quickly has this turned around?
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Because we only bought this car literally 9 days ago. It's crazy that you've got it to this stage. The one thing that Chris really did want, he said, Rob, I need you to get it for me ASAP, is the aircon pipes, because one of them's damaged here, but they actually come right round, sit on here, and they need to go in before the engine.
They're a nuisance to put in.
Well, they arrived last night.
They go in behind here, don't
they?
they? So
they arrived last night. I've brought them in with me this morning. So as soon as that's painted, mate, they can go in as well.
Perfect.
Right, we'll leave you to it. And it is prep time, so a bit of masking up. Chris has already, of course, I showed you, he'd done a little bit of bog work in there just to cover up the grinding marks, and then of course a little bit of primer over the top. He's going to knock up a bit of paint here on the bench, give that a good few coats of paint, and then of course a little dusting of lacquer. So quite a lot in the industry, you hear people saying, better than factory, right? Yeah. And here is a prime example of better than factory. This is factory. They literally sneeze a bit of paint on there.
They do.
Unfortunately, we had a yellow chassis leg.
We did.
You've got to completely cover it.
Yeah.
So here is factory, and here is better than factory.
It has got a lot more paint on it, you're right.
It has.
But realistically, once that engine mount's in place, water bottle, headlight...
You don't see any of it.
You see literally hardly anything.
I'm just going to stand back
so
people
I think
can
more
see
paint is more protection.
Absolutely, mate.
So,
and of course, we're going to be firing loads and loads of dinner troll up there.
Under there, there's more.
Yeah.
So,
but again, all this is covered by a wheel arch liner. You don't see any of it.
But,
mate, this little car, I know I've sounded like a parrot in every video, but it is turning out to be an absolute peach. And I think we got so lucky with those parts.
We did.
Getting them very, very quickly.
Yeah.
We are still outstanding a ST line front bumper. And I just ain't ready to pay that 300 quid for a damaged one on eBay just yet.
No.
Let's just wait a little bit longer, see if Eddie can locate us one, and we go from there. But I guess, mate, let's start building this one back up and get that engine back in. Let's do it. With that all painted, it is time to start putting this one back together. And why I've just dropped a car off to get some wheels done, Chris is actually preparing, so he's putting those new aircon pipes in there, started laying all the hybrid cables back round there. There's not a lot, but they're all in a plastic sheet. He's putting them back round on that chassis that actually hid the damage on the last chassis. And of course, just preparing all of the areas, getting ready to put that engine back in. You need all of this in first. So unfortunately, in that bit of time lapse, all I could mention was you was preparing, because I was actually dropping the car off for wheel refurb. I weren't here, but it looks like you've got it there.
Yeah, hybrid cabling's back in, hybrid ECU's back on that bracket, because that's not going to be in the way. those air con pipes, which, as we said previously, this is tricky to get to, but it's even trickier to get to the bracket that holds them in.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have them on.
Our one was just split on
It
the
was.
pipe,
There's another one that goes on here, but it goes over the top of that engine mount, so I've left that one off because that's easy to get to. Took the brake caliper and hose off, threaded it through the bracket, put that back on, ABS sensor back in. Yeah, clipped up as much as I could. Belt on.
Oh, on the side of the engine,
yeah,
all done.
So new adjuster and or tensioner belt on. So I think we are ready to
Stick it in there, yeah.
Yeah.
And I noticed also you've painted the bumper bar.
Yeah, I've done that first thing. So
once we get
that
this
later.
Sorry, Chris, I stopped you there. Carry on, mate.
Yeah, we need that later, but we can get this all in, bolted up, can't we? And then put the suspension leg back in this side, and yeah.
So fingers crossed, we can get that rad pack on this.
Yeah, we should be able to
run up to temperature.
Yeah, should be able to. Yeah, it drove when it came in. So
you drove it in there, mate. That's right. Right, I guess then let's start the process.
Yep.
Get all the engine mounts prepared. Get the bolts prepared. Someone's going to ask how you do it. So it's got half a mount on there. We've got the other mount here somewhere ready to. It's just down there. We'll get that position there. We get the gearbox one here. We'll get all the right size sockets, all the right size extensions, the gun and the bars. And let's get this one. Basically, you want to get the gearbox secured, the engine secured that side. And we've also got a nice new gearbox bracket there, stabiliser. That's what we're going to concentrate on. Then you do all the build-up work after. Yeah. Let's get it in there, mate. So we've got the old faithful engine lift there. And like we said, it out as one unit, in as one unit. We've slipped it in there. I'm going to concentrate on the engine mount on the driver's side. Chris concentrated on the gearbox mount that side. As soon as we got them in, you can start the process of clipping it all back together. We'll lift the subframe in there on a jack and then get the bolts back in that, get the exhaust connected up just beforehand, and then there's a couple of braces, one on the left, one on the right, and one going right across. Who's getting bored with me keep saying how nicely this car's coming together? Put it in the comments. Honestly, I'm just kidding. It really is coming together, and everything's just falling into place now. It's not quite falling in there. Chris is putting it all back together, but I've just built up that left-hand leg there. I've got the pinch bolts put in. That's pretty much done. We've got two big brackets to put underneath this crossbar to put in there, but everything underneath here, all that new mount, all of the wiring, the exhaust, everything is all back together, and you can see gear change cables, engine mounts. It just continuously just keeps bit by bit. You're putting it all back together. We did say it's so much easier to remove an engine as a complete unit. So that engine come out with the gearbox, all of the loom, all of the pipe work, everything comes out. Then when you put it back in, you put it all in as one piece. I've just noticed after putting that in, I do need to clean all that up. You don't want to put it together with a load of writing on second-hand used parts that you put on there. So I guess we are just going to continue on. Chris wants to gun them in, and that needs to make quite a bit of noise. So anything to add, mate?
No, I think it's all under control.
Stumbled across anything untoward, or is it all
good? I think
it's all fine. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, no major nasties.
Let's carry on then. Get all that back together, and hopefully get it off this jig. That'd be nice, won't it?
Yeah.
Because we've got one out there waiting to come on.
We have, yes.
Right, let's carry on. And continuing on here, the build-up process of putting this one back together with the engine in. Of course, you've got the drive shafts that they got to go back in. You've got the driver's side caliper, the driver's side leg. We completely removed the hub assembly with the leg. None of that was damaged. None of that took a whack. But of course, we had to remove it all because that chassis leg had to come out. So lifted it in there. Chris got one bolt started. I put 3 in, and he carried on right round the back there. Heater matrix hoses, all the wiring connections, the battery tray, gear change cables, your clutch pipe, all of it is there to be plugged in. Right, an epic amount of work there done in that period of time in time lapse. Literally, we worked that fast, only in our dreams. And we've put just enough on there. Do you want to try it, or?
Kind of.
Well, it's making all the right noises.
I don't know if the ignition's still on, is it? Maybe, I don't know. And
no, the Keys are in the door panel though.
The flap's doing a bit of a dance.
I can
Right,
see
I'll
it.
jump in, shall I?
Yeah, it is in gear, Chris, I can see.
All right, I'll clutch pedal and all that.
I haven't tightened that, be alright, won't it? Yeah.
It should be. When I flick the ignition on, Rob, just check them fuel pipes for us.
Of course, yeah.
Just, I won't try and start it straight away.
Just make sure that camera's picking us up. Yeah, it is. Yeah, just give it a prime without touching the pedals. I suppose the ignition will come on, won't it? You're looking for the button?
Yeah, where is it?
Right there, just next to the steering wheel.
Oh, yeah. Right, so I won't put my foot on the clutch for a minute.
Go on. Wipers are on.
No leaks?
There's nothing coming out, mate. No, nothing.
Well, that's pressurised the fuel, isn't it? Right, let's go back off.
There's a flap here opening and shutting.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah. Right, clutch pedal down, out of gear. Go for it.
Send it. Too easy.
It's all right, isn't it?
Will it tick over?
That's on its own.
That sounds lovely now. Any battery lights?
No battery light,
I was really worried about that alternator, even though you said it's the same, it was just slightly different.
Yeah, we've got quite a lot of lights on. We've got doors open, boot, bonnet open, airbag, seat belt.
You can knock that off if you want.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you exactly why. I've made an educated guess of why all them lights are on. Because it previously got fired out of a cannon.
Yeah.
Right, I guess, mate. What do you want to do? Get the front panel on it? And
yeah, we just double check a few bits, that everything's tight. Because once that front panel's in, you can't get to anything, can you, very well? So we just double check we got everything buttoned up. And yeah, front panel on, mate.
Get the front panel on, get some coolant in it and get it off that frame machine. Well done though, mate. Fired straight into life.
Well, we get that front panel on, we can
get it out, yeah.
That's good.
Let's do it.
It is time to put on the front panel and actually try some water in this. Make sure it's got no leaks, and fingers crossed we can get this one off the jig and reverse it out of the workshop. We can even let it run up to temperature and leave it running if we need to, but how much has that car come on in just that short period of time? On with the wheels, down with the lift, and out it goes.
Honestly, you'd find this hard to believe, but it's actually factual that we've got exactly the same phones, exactly the same cameras. When Chris time-lapse something, it's 10 times quicker than it is on my phone.
Well, it's a lot of difference.
There's a huge difference. So, I mean, that piece of time-lapse you just watched, that was over an hour's work. And if it was on Chris's phone, yeah. Anyway, mate, you ready?
Yep.
It's off the jig. It is... Is that the horn?
Yeah.
Does it drive?
It does.
There is a little tiny water leak. I think that header
Shame,
tank's
innit?
definitely got a crack in it. Yeah, you're all right.
Can I lock round?
Yeah, you can lock round now, mate. That's it. Yeah, lovely.
Shall I try it up the road?
Do you want
up
to?
the drive? Yeah, just see.
Road test?
Yeah, just see if there's any clonks or anything.
We did only put, obviously, normal water in this car. Straighten up. We didn't want to put any coolant in it. Any proper coolant, because we don't want to waste it for things like that leaks. While I'm here, I'll probably better mention, that's actually my brother's van and he's away travelling in India. It is not for sale. I just wanted to put, someone always asks, how much is that van in the background? And of course we got Dan's van in the background and a couple of people have asked about that.
We better buy a van then.
Eh?
If people are asking about vans, we best buy a van.
We've already bought a van, mate. I'm picking it up tomorrow, 12:30. Right, I'm going to run up the yard. Unbelievable. You can't hide it. You all see that car when it come in. Let's chuck the picture in now. And just a couple of videos and a little bit later, look at it. Running and driving, stopping and starting. There's a little bit of muck on the brake sock in here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Apart from that, there's water, there's coolant in it, even
Rear
though
wash
it's got a
white
little
doesn't want to turn off.
No, it keeps going, doesn't it? I don't know if you've got to push that stalk forward or backwards. That's it, on the end, you got it. That's off now, isn't it?
That's off, yeah.
So
Yeah. Screen.
Yeah, can we get rid of that? Sorry. Change it somehow, change it to radio.
Don't know.
It's only because it's got the address on it, Chris, that's all.
Where's the
And I
audio?
know you don't
then?
want no stalkers.
Trouble is, we put the radio on, then we get.
Yeah, that's right. We'll leave that then. I'll stand here, mate. We can
That's
see
it.
you, we can talk to you.
Yeah.
Right, next step. Get a pair of bumpers for it.
Windscreen,
Windscreen,
dashboard.
they're coming.
Well, that's next, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
All
mate,
right.
plenty to be getting on with.
Yeah.
But, again, I'm going to say it, I'll take my hat off to you.
Thank you.
What a cracking job.
Yeah.
And a beautiful car.
Nice
It
car.
is just paintwork, airbags and a windscreen, and that one's done.
Yep.
Right, mate, you're going to need to bring it back in the workshop and put it underneath. We've got something else ready to go on the
Yep,
jig.
that's
Because we
right.
can't leave it outside, can we?
All right, mate.
Let's get it in now.
What are we doing?
There's a bit of a clue there on
Yep.
something that's currently getting done, but I know I've said it throughout this video. I'm not even going to say it again. I'm so happy how quick it's gone.
Yeah.
And of course, impressed as usual, Chris. That car is literally, I don't want to give away the next video or anything that's upcoming, but they're coming to do an airbag set in it tomorrow. I've sorted a windscreen. We literally need a front and back bumper for this car, and it can go off to the paint shop.
Yeah.
That is going to be the end of today's video, and unbelievably, only the second video on the 2024 Ford Focus. If you enjoyed this video, give Chris a massive thumbs up. Don't forget, if you want to follow
Team
us...
effort, Rob.
Team effort. If you want to follow us on our other socials, the links are down below. Salvage Rebuilds for Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Salvage Rebuilds Chris. We've got another one on the jig. We can't waffle on. We need to get on with it, mate. So
Yeah, I don't know whether I said it in the last video, but thank you for all the kind comments regarding the Morris.
Oh yeah, the Morris commercial, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're busy doing their final video for that, so
Yeah.
that'll be in the future at some point.
Appreciate
We've got
that.
another one on the jig in the background. Don't forget, like, subscribe and share, and we'll see you all very soon in the next one. No joke again.
No joke, Rob. We haven't got time for jokes.
People keep sending them to me, but they're no good.
But we ain't got time, mate.